Hey guys, April Mondelli here, and I'm here with my client Joe. We just designed a very cool custom home office for Joe that I'd love to show you. So Joe, we did a lot of extensive work in your home, but this office is my favorite room that we did. So I want to ask you, what was this office like when you moved into the home? Because we did have a custom built-in from the previous owner. So what was that like? What did you not like about it? And what did you want to create for your new space?
You know, the original office was the original office. The house was built in 2008, so it was pretty dated. At one point, probably 6 years ago, we had the cabinets that were in here painted to make them look a little bit better, but it just wasn't going to work. So when we decided to do all the work in the house, I definitely knew I wanted to redo this office as well.
It was very traditional, right?
Yeah, it was exactly.
It was custom millwork, but it was very traditional. It was
heavy.
Very heavy.
Yeah.
And it actually also, the one thing that I noticed that I wasn't in love with about it is that it kind of cut off around, what was it, 8 feet, 9 feet tall, and you have super high ceilings in this home office. So I wanted to create a design that also took advantage of the tall ceilings without feeling like overwhelming and weird, being that it's so high. So,
and we also had that closet in the corner here. There was a there was really no need for that closet, and you were able to figure out a way to get it out of there and do what we did.
Exactly. So we did have a closet in the corner of the room that was completely dead space that kind of just chopped off the room and messed with the design that we were trying to come up with. We wanted something clean and modern. So beyond the fact that you didn't like the old traditional design, when we were coming up with your new design, one of the main things we wanted to keep in mind were your very cool collections. What are your collections about? You've traveled the world, you've had a really cool career, so this kind of led our design choices and some of the materials, if you want to tell us a little bit.
Sure. So I was in the aviation industry my whole career. You know, I started out as an aircraft mechanic back in 1979. And when I retired, I was the chief technical officer for AirCap, which is the largest commercial aircraft leasing company in the world. So I had quite a collection of things, as you said, from traveling around the world and picking items up. But then about a year before I retired, which was in May of 22, I had this idea that I was going to maybe open up an antique shop when I came back to the States. We were living in Ireland, in Dublin. So I started collecting some items. So the things you see in the room here, half of them are things that I collected over the years, and the other half are things that I collected for the antique shop. You know, when I finally decided there was too much time being taken up by golf and tennis and pickleball and the casino, so I just so I didn't even bother pursuing the antique thing. But I did pick up some nice items, and I wanted to display them as well.
Exactly. And you had all of that really in storage, right? That you kept off-site.
Yes, it was all in a home.
So you weren't enjoying any of your collections. I know that there really wasn't any place in your home outside of this room to keep anything. So we came up with this design. As you see the desk, it really is like a nod to the aviation industry. So some of these materials that we chose, we wanted to reflect Joe's career and his interests and his likes. And then we just really wanted to give multi-level, really cool display shelving for some of these items. You have things like books, golf balls, a lot of different things. So it's not always easy to come up with a way to cohesively display everything in a way that looks good when you have so many different types of collections. So I just wanted to briefly talk about some of your items because they're very cool. I've actually never seen so many collections of really cool things. So what are some of your favorites?
Well, this here, those are data plates off of aircraft. Next time you get on an airplane, if you look in the forward entry door on the frame of the door, you'll see one of these data plates. And it identifies, you know, who made the airplane, Boeing, Airbus, the serial number and QA number and a few other items. Before I was working for the aircraft leasing company, I worked for I was a partner in a company and that sold aircraft parts. And the way we got those aircraft parts was by disassembling airplanes. So I was with them for probably 6 years. And over those 6 years, I collected all those data plates off the airplanes that we had taken apart. And I was carrying them around for the last 25 years in a baggie. And now I finally got a chance to put them up on display. So,
very cool. That is also one of my favorite collections that you have. Very unique, very personal to you also. Right. And we have the display area in the center that gave you the opportunity to be able to frame that out and show those as well.
Yeah. And then this here, the aircraft on the wall, it's a fighter plane. It's an A-10 Warthog. Before I started with Eastern Airlines, I actually worked for Fairchild Republic, who was the manufacturer of that A-10 Warthog airplane up in Farmingdale, Long Island. So I worked for them for a year, building the center wing section, and I was able to find one of these in a model store. It's actually a remote control airplane. It actually flies if you took it off the wall. But so I thought that would be pretty cool to have in here as a reminder where I started. This here is, very proud of this. This is a picture at the New York Stock Exchange. That's me over there in the corner. Looked a bit younger there. That was back in 2014. So it's 10, 11 years ago. Rang the bell on the New York Stock Exchange. Well, then there's a few pieces here from this piece here and this one are from, we got them in our trip that we did on holiday, on vacation in South Africa. And we actually visited this field that was, it had to be 20 acres out in the open. It was just right out in the open. And these guys were making these statues. Either they were wood or stone or, and they were, the quality of them was great. It cost me more to ship them back than it cost to purchase them. So I actually have 2 more that are wood that are not in here because they're too big.
I love that. So everything that you look at in here really has a memory for you.
Yeah.
It's a collection of your life and memories and stories. I love that. So when you're designing your home office, everybody has different things in mind, but I have learned that with men especially, they have a lot of stories and collections that they like to look at and be reminded of while they're in their space working.
Then the other 2 pieces, well, 3 pieces. This here, this is off of a courthouse in Dublin, Ireland, that they were doing remodeling, and I actually bought it at an antique store. It's solid brass. It probably weighs about 40 pounds. So that was a nice piece. These are KLM houses. KLM Airlines used to give these out when it flew over. So we did a lot of trips. The first few years we were overseas, we were actually living in Amsterdam. And he's probably my favorite piece in the corner here. The cigar store Indian. I got him in Dublin at a cigar shop. They had him up on the landing, and I was talking to the owner. Happened to be in the store one day, and I asked him if he was for sale, and the owner joked and said, "Yeah, everything's for sale." I said, "Okay, well, how much?" And he's like, "Really? You want to buy it?" I said, "Yeah, I want to buy it." So we worked out a deal, and I bought it, and he made it all the way back from Ireland. He's actually got the Dutch flag under his eyes, so it was kind of cool because, like I said, we were originally in the Netherlands, and then that. And then probably this piece here is the other one that I think is really cool. I got this at an auction site when I was doing the antique stuff, and it's a carving. It looks like it's like probably from Thailand or Malaysia, somewhere over there. And it's got, if you could stand here and look at it for 10 minutes, and there's so many things going on in the carving. I thought it was pretty cool. One of the things I talked to April about when we first were laying out how we were going to design this was that I had all of these automotive signs that you can see up here on the wall that I had collected as part of my thinking that I was going to do the antique business, which, like I said earlier, never happened. But they were really cool, and I wanted to display them. So April came up with this method of doing it, and I think it looks great. And every time I sit at the desk and I'm looking around, it reminds me of what my plans were, and how things change sometimes. So, but
yeah, so that was actually very early on in our designing process.
Right.
So seeing all of your collections early on really helps kind of drive the design and the layout. So your career kind of helped us pick some of these materials the industrial light fixture, but then really your collections really help drive the layout and how we designed the shelving, the panels for the signage and artwork and things like that. So it's really good to have a plan from the start, so then we can create the design to work with whatever it is that you want to have in your home office and your custom space.
Right.
So for me, this was definitely a fun, interesting, challenging project, which is why I wanted to share it. You were so great to work with, and I thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We love it.
Good.
Thank you.